Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And yeah, I'm bringing it back for the one time, even though I've been doing it still every single week. And I guess because post-fight is still Where I Went Wrong, it's just under a different name, but I'll do it just now. The views been dropping on post-fight anyway, so it's probably gonna get at least more than 60 views. So Where I Went Wrong. So yeah, Where I Went Wrong, UFC fight night, Dariush versus Yakarin. So actually rebounded pretty well at 7-5. By the point I already was getting crushed on the prelims, I was like, I'm gonna do it where I went wrong. I'm getting crushed right now on the prelims. I made some obvious mistakes. So and obvious mistakes, and not just making mistakes, but overly investing in these fights that went on to be mistakes. But yeah. So it's definitely some clear mistakes on this card. 7-5, not a bad card. You know, if that's a bad card for you, 7-5 not bad for a bad card. So anytime it's positive, especially on a rough card, I'll take it. But am I proud of it? Not at all. But I'm also aware enough to know, after predicting thousands of cards, that that's a good card, all things considering, as far as prediction. But yeah. So 7-5. Let's get to the L's. So first L. Well, let me not do that order. Let me just kind of just do in a different order than that whole first L, second, third, fourth L. I got 5 L's. But let me talk about the 2 that stand out firstly. Well, it's 3 that stand out, but Horf was the first loss. So Horf, let me combine Horf with Turman and Reese. Well, Horst and Reese kind of connect. Horst and Reese, I'll talk about. When Horst and Reese was 2 fighters that I put overconfidence, and I definitely learned and continue to learn this lesson of not putting investment in these fighters that haven't really done anything to warrant this investment. Like these fighters, like, oh, you might look okay, you might have proved me wrong in your debut or in the contender series, but you still have not really got your feet wet and really showed yourself to be knocking out contender, or showed yourself to be this true talent. And that's the case with Reese and Horford. Like Reese really ain't show me too much prior, but I was like, he's fighting the same, another big mistake, picking a guy and investing in him more because he looked okay enough, and he's going there with a guy in Brunch who's supposed to look terrible. So that was one of the bigger ones. And yeah, simply with those two, it was just like they hadn't shown me enough, and I gave a whole lot of investment because of who they were fighting, not really purely because of who they are. And then they both came back to bite me in the butt, big time. In fact, they were people who bit me in the butt the most, I guess. So yeah, Horford and Reese. And Horford, like, she showed in the third round, she could have done that to approach the whole fight. She could have won, potentially stopped her, potentially. That's a big potential, but winning definitely would have been a big potential. Would have been a likely outcome if she fought that way she did in the third round, but a little too late. But all in all, I'm not impressed with her. I'm not impressed with Hardy. Yeah, just not a good performance, but I already said it. Just between those two, Reese and Horford, just putting too much investment in fighters who had not really proven themselves, and it's not like they were going in there with ideal matchups, to be honest, or had shown to be such bad matchups for the people they were fighting, ideal, like, no, stylistically or whatnot. So yeah, that's those people. That's the folks on there, and just working on chiseling that out so I don't keep making those mistakes. And, it's better to, well, I'm just saying, I would say for those type of fights, probably Reese has not really saying too much from. I probably should have went low confidence. Horf average was probably okay, was okay, but it's the investment. Like, might have pegged her as average, but I feel like I gave her high confident value, and I should not have done that. And then these other 2 people, I'm gonna say Thurman and Punali Soriano, I would put them in the same boat. I didn't put nothing at all on Thurman. No investment at all on Thurman. I know how volatile that matchup was, but at the end of the day, I still got it wrong. But if that similar matchup, I'm probably gonna get it wrong again. I'm not saying they match them up again, I'm gonna get it wrong. But if they give a similar matchup, I'll probably make that mistake. It's not. I don't feel like it's a bad mistake. I feel like it could still be a 50-50 fight, 60-40 fight. So yeah, I don't feel bad at all about that loss, and I also can't really feel bad because I invest nothing in that fight. But as far as prediction wise, still don't feel bad because I just feel like it's one of those fights. I feel like Thurman still put on a decent performance, but I just feel like he got too confident in his striking. I also feel he had much more success with the grappling, or when he did grapple, than I thought he would. I thought Gooden would have done a better job to defend the takedown, but he just got flung around like DC style, and that showed that Thurman, if he wanted to already, that was like his true game plan. Or if he stuck to his game plan, he would have been able to do that for 3 rounds and would have got a pretty clear, dominant decision. But he started feeling confident in his striking. He was hurting Gooden. He was getting better of him on the feet. but he kept getting too confident, and that ended up biting him in the butt. But still, I don't feel like, I just know that was just like one of those coin flip fights, and I just stayed away from. So, am I going to just be like, oh, I could improve upon this, I could improve upon that? You're going to get fights wrong. Especially me, I get at least 1 or 2 fights wrong every card. I have not had a perfect card. It's just me. I'm just not that perfect guy. I'll give you good averages, but as far as perfect cards or this and that, that's not me. So I know it's the nature of the game. So I ain't gonna be like, oh, this was such an easy or foreseeable fight to this gonna happen. I ain't gonna say it like that. Low level MMA, it happens. So I ain't too mad about that at all. I'm in fact not mad at all about it. So I pretty much just like quickly went through 4 of the fights. And then final one, even though this is not in chronological order, Miesha Tate. I feel like Miesha Tate is the only fight that I got wrong on the card that I would, I picked Julia Avila. But yeah, Miesha Tate is the only fighter, the person I would have probably picked among the people I picked against. Because, in hindsight, other ones I feel like, even though I can say this and say that, I don't feel like I made bad picks in picking them. I will say that. I don't feel like I made bad picks in picking them. Playing them, I could have played them in different ways. That could be proved upon. But as far as picking them, I don't feel like they were bad picks. I only got mentioned Punahele. I just said, oh yeah, I don't really mention Punahele so much. I ain't get too mad about that one, to be honest. So I ain't gonna really mention it. I'm gonna focus on what's like actually juicy, what actually can learn from. So Punahele Soriano, match them up with Tayfon and Chukwi next. I think that'd be a good matchup. 2 guys that had a lot of talent that's getting, match them up, cut one of them. That'd be their next match. That's what I would say about Punahele Soriano. Good win for Stolfus. But I don't think it really changes his perspective in the division much. Show some improvement on the striking, But yeah, I ain't got much to say for him. But kudos, good win for you. And back to Miesha Tate. Because with this one, it was foreseeable. But I just was not a case where I say he should, like one of those she should or he should win type of fights and win with Julia Avila. But it was that was a terrible prediction. That probably, prediction-wise, that was the most terrible prediction because it's not like I hadn't already seen Julia Avila struggle with Sijara Eubanks. She had been exposed years ago in the Eubanks fights. And then she hasn't fought in 3 years. She's coming back. Miesha Tate had her absence, but she came back. It's not like Miesha Tate has ever been this fighter that won't be able to give you, her best effort and, be able to be out there competing for all the rounds she's involved. So it's not like she's going to fade out. It's not like Avila's this big finish or anything. So, and then on top of that, she has shown poor takedown defense, big gaps and holes in her grappling. So that was foreseeable. And it's not like she was some 26-year-old, 27-year-old, or even a 30-year-old. She's like just as old as Miesha Tate. So she hasn't been active. Miesha Tate actually was the one who's been more active. Miesha Tate stylistically was the better fighter. And age difference was not that big. So Miesha Tate should have been a clear pick. And I think she was a dog. And I think decision, she was like plus 300. Well, she didn't go to decision. She finished it. But yeah. Miesha Tate, like in hindsight, that's the only pick I would have changed. So I would have went 8-4. That was the only pick I would change. The other ones, yes, the investment in some of these fighters is where their issue is. But as far as picking them, I feel like I made good picks in picking them. I feel like I broke it down pretty well in what my reasonings for picking them. Like, obviously you say, if you knew the future or this and that, like, would you pick the same fighter? Obviously I would pick different fighters. But as far as, just saying that, hindsight, not even factoring hindsight, just looking at them for what they are and just looking at how they match up and the styles and everything I'm reading, I would still pick those same fighters. And I don't feel ashamed to say that. But as far as the Miesha Tate one, that's the one that was clear and obvious, and that's the one I would have changed up. Again, the other two, Reese and Horft, I would not put the same investment in, or I would play them different ways. But with Tate, that's the one that would change. So yeah, that's all I can say. And now I'll give some kudos to Armas Yakrin. So he put a great performance. Got Dariush out in the first round, and he did what he needed to do. Dariush has shown that when he does get stopped, typically it's in the first round. I think Oliveira first round, when Alexander Hernandez first round. I think even what's his name? The dude Tony Ferguson knocked out to win the Ultimate Fighter. So the Indian guy, I forget his name right now, but knocked him out first round, I believe. I think Chiesa submitted him first round or was able to catch him out in second round. But either way, he did what he needed to do out there. He put a great performance. And I don't think this performance should be overlooked. I feel like this should jump him up. Not that title eliminator he wants or that title fight he wants, but I feel, matter of fact, it could give him a title eliminator. He wants a title fight, but I feel it can get him a title eliminator. I feel the division is very open and needs new challenges or people to make it interesting in the mix. And yeah, maybe a rematch with Ganrod will be a good fight, or give him a Dustin Poirier. I feel like he deserves all those matchups, to be honest. So I'm excited to see his future, see where he goes with it, and I definitely think he deserves a big fight next after starching Dariush like he did. So yeah, that's all I can say. So kudos to Arman Tsarukyan on that performance. Great performance from him. Dariush is gonna have some concerns going forward. Now I think he's getting older. He's coming off 2 back-to-back first round stoppages. Took a lot of damage in both those fights. And a lot of people are gonna be headhunting him going forward. They're gonna also see that people have been able to have success against him. When they press him early in the first round and try to go for his head, try to knock him out. So that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna press him, try to knock his head off. And I think they're gonna have a very good chance of doing it. Now with him riding 2-fight losing streak, might get matched with Rafael Fiziev. I mean, that's the Fiziev next, and if he fights him, I think he gets knocked out first round. So that's probably what's gonna happen. And he goes from being close to a title shot, or close to that title picture, or close to a title shot, maybe deserving of a title shot, to now being close to retirement. It's just that's how quick the game could do you. But yeah. So props to Tsarukyan, Dariush. Best of luck with you going forward. And I went 7-5 or 7-12. The mistakes are pretty clear, at least in 3 of the fights. Another 2, I'm like not too worried about, but one in particular, I definitely feel I can improve upon. And again, that was like the Tate fight, but I'll see going forward. Not a bad night, but nothing to be proud about, but something a lot to be worked on to do better next week out. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.